Just making up a set of arrows for a customer for clout shooting. He didn't want to go to the expense of footed arrow, so he didn't have any trouble in making the clout. So what we've done is just tapered the shaft down a little bit to a 9/32 diameter pile. These are 35 grains. A lot of footed arrows will have a smaller pile, a 1/4 inch, and the footing just makes it that much stronger at that end where it goes into the ground. The other end, at the moment we've got 2.5 inch fletchers on. We normally trim the forward edge just to make it a little bit more comfortable, less likely to cut the top of your finger if we just trim off that leading edge. Sometimes it's a little bit rough, so just trim those off. We'll put a dab of glue on there, and then what I then do is reduce the height of the fletchers. I'll stick some tape on. So that when I cut the fletch, the feathery bit doesn't move around. I then need to measure it, and I cut them to about 1/4 inch high. So put the rule on the end of the fletch and then mark with the pen. So that gives me, making sure it doesn't stick to my fingers. So that gives me that position. Then get a decent pair of scissors and then cut from that point down to the end. Take the tape off, and there we've reduced it in height, and that cuts down the drag. It's surprising what those 2.5 inch fletchers do, but by cutting down the height on any set of arrows will give you an extra bit of distance, and that can make all the difference if you're just struggling to get the 180 yard clout. I would then do that obviously with all three. This has been tapered down slightly at the back end to a 9/32 knock. It's a 5/16 shaft, but 9/32 pile, 9/32 knock. As a bit of an experiment for a customer, and we will be trimming these fletches down to the 1/4 inch high, he shoots in very windy conditions and says he doesn't have any trouble in reaching the clout, but wants an arrow that will stand up better in the wind, not be blown around quite so much. So, a bit of an experiment. We've again used a 9/32 pile, but this one, instead of being 35 grains, is about 80 grains. And with a green heart footing and a bit of forward weight, it gives a lot more weight to the front end of the arrow, which hopefully will keep it steadier flying through the air. That extra weight could slow the arrow down a bit, but if you have no trouble in reaching the clout anyway, this might just make it fly a little bit steadier and not be blown off course by the wind.